Hey everyone, interesting start to the year so far. Just over 300 properties sold in Victoria last month, which is 25% less than this time last year. But as we know, Victoria is comprised of many smaller markets, and some of them are booming. Lots of condos, however, are sitting, the missing middle and those new townhomes, pretty slow start there. Luxury homes, meaning homes over $2 million, some big discounts. But homes around that $1 million mark are in very high demand. I recently listed a detached home in Saanich, and we had over 30 showings and multiple offers in the first weekend. There are some hyper-competitive segments, such as this one in Saanich, with low inventory, and if you're thinking of selling your home, you may want to capitalize on the limited inventory. For example, there are only 4 houses with suites in Victoria's core under $1 million right now. Motivated buyers start their home search right out the gate in January, and just like how gyms are super busy in the new year, people are in a rush to buy. A lot of sellers, on the other hand, think it's better to wait until spring when their gardens look the best, but there is a window to get ahead of the pack and make your home really stand out now before that spring inventory comes in. We see the same patterns year after year, with new listings ramping up in March and peaking in May and June. As for buyers, in my opinion, I don't think prices for detached homes will come down or improve in the spring, but you might get a bit more selection and maybe some breathing room to make better offers. Maybe. Same story for condos. If it's been listed for more than a few months, the listing has gotten stale, and now's a pretty good time to do a price cut, or even better, put it up as a brand new listing and get some fresh eyes on it. Condo buyers are out there, but they aren't feeling any sense of urgency to rush in, and they'll likely wait until that perfect unit or the perfect price point comes up. Please remember to hit subscribe to follow Victoria's spring market with me. We've got some employment uncertainty coming up with potential government layoffs. So as a government town, that's likely to have some pretty big impacts on our housing market, but we'll have to wait and see. Thanks so much for watching. Let's start by looking at a few significant sales and the strongest sales throughout the region. This one out here in North Saanich, Central Saanich, another one in Langford and James Bay, all going above asking price, and most of that 5% or so consistently for detached homes. On the other hand, the biggest losses are a more interesting mix. One older strata property, such as this one in Oak Bay, 2 homes in Deep Cove over $4 million, and several properties in Shawnigan Lake, Souk, and the Gulf Islands. One thing to note is there's not many condos taking big losses this month, at least not in the leaderboard here, so maybe a sign that the condo market has stabilized a little bit. Condos do appear weaker than detached homes with higher days on market, but again, not quite as many distressed sales as December. It's early in the year here, and there's only been 300 sales, so it's way too early to draw any major conclusions about the condo market. We'll know a lot more next month, how things are shaping up, but generally, the condo market is actually not off to a terrible start quite yet. In my last video, I talked about a slump in rental prices, and there's been a few more threads on Reddit to show just how much leverage tenants have these days. We've gone from a very expensive to slightly less expensive market for rentals. Most people are still paying 50% of their household income to rental or housing costs, which is crazy. So a cooling off in our rental prices doesn't necessarily mean anything has become affordable. I had a few clients buy in one of the new buildings in Esquimalt as an investment, and they had no problem getting tenants. So even though Esquimalt looks like it's got a ton of new rental stock and inventory, tenants were still sending in applications. They did end up getting maybe about 10% less on market rent than it would have been 1 or 2 years ago, but there are still a lot of applicants. Townhomes continue to be the sweet spot in the market, and the 50 that sold last month have the closest to sale to list ratio, just under 0.5%. New construction and all those missing middle projects that struggled in Q4 2025 are starting to see some sales trickle in. Developers have a lot of this newly built inventory in that $800K to $1.3 million range of new townhomes all over Victoria, and I'm very curious to see how this will go this spring. Will they have to start slashing prices to move this product? How long can they have these products just sitting there? CMHC released their year-end stats, and it shows Victoria had 4,800 new homes break ground in 2025, and this was 16% more than 2024. But what's really interesting is that only 6 of them were detached homes. The overwhelming majority are all purpose-built rentos. condos, and multifamily units. Detached homes are going extinct in Victoria, and that's reflected in the sales and all the competition in the detached home market these days. For buyers, if you're buying a detached home, it's going to be competitive, particularly if it's under $1.5 million, even more so if it's around $1 million. Go in fast with your best price and don't wait until someone else can get ahead of you. Delaying offers isn't the norm yet, so sometimes you can be aggressive early and get an offer accepted with conditions before too many other showings get in. For condos, I think this is our last year when you can get a smoking hot deal and big discount before prices start to tick up again. I'm going to go on record and say that 2026 will be the bottom for condo prices. Not saying it's going to be a fast recovery, but I think we're pretty close to the bottom here. There just aren't enough new condo projects in the pipeline. Lots of rental towers, but eventually all these renters and new residents, they will want to buy property too, and they'll be looking at condo sales for that. There's some pretty nice units available in what I think are great buildings, the Aria, the Escher, 989 Johnson. Those are all downtown. In Vic West, you've got Bayview 1, Promontory, the rail yards. Lots of selection in solid buildings, and I think it's going to bounce back within the next year or two. That's it for the update this month. If you're buying or selling or just want to have a chat about your real estate goals this year, please don't hesitate to reach out. All my contact information is below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.